Hello everyone, Axel here. Today I'm back with a very different video from usual. As you can maybe hear, this is a voiceover. Basically I filmed this video but I don't really like how I was articulating things and how I was organized, so I decided to do a voiceover. Basically in this video I will be storing my Loona flipped that cards, Eugene's cards, her album cards on her pubs. I joined a fixed slot group order for those, and as you may notice, they took a long time to ship. Honestly, some time ago I would have talked about that, the problems I had with the gum, but I'm past it now. There's way more important things that have happened, so I decided to use this video to talk a bit about the Loona situation. Small word, I'm really sorry about the lighting. This was filmed at night, since we are in the worst of winter right now. I also have some bandages on my hands because I've been working and opening a lot of boxes and everything. My hands got cut up a lot. Also because of the colds, they've been not in really good condition. When I originally filmed this video, it was before the Dispatch article released, and yeah, that's part of why I'm re-recording this, I guess, because I get it kind of changes things a lot, and also I don't know, I don't really like how I went into the video. For people that may be new here, I want to mention that I've been in orbit for 4 years now. I started studying Loona at the beginning of September 2018. So yeah, I've been obviously really invested in for a really long time in this group. And all I've ever wanted for them was success and to grow. So obviously what's going on is really hurting right now. Let's dive into the collection and look at the cards. I'm not going to detail everything that you'll see on screen because honestly I can't remember most of them. But if you have any question about any of the cards I'm putting away, you can leave me a comment with the timestamp and I'll let you know which card it is. So if there's jumps and cuts, but I cut out the parts where I was ranting a bit too much and nothing was happening. So, the Loona events. Honestly, every orbit that has been paying attention this year knew that Shu was going to leave, or that something was up with her, especially since we knew that she filed the lawsuit to terminate her contract. There's no way that could have especially since we knew that she filed the lawsuit to terminate her contract. There's no way that could have ended well, some people leaving for another company but staying under the same group. I'm thinking about I am from Mistakes, even though we don't have that many examples of that. Oh yeah, also I ran out of sleeves, so some of these cards are unsleeved. But yeah, we all knew that something was going to be up with Shu. Honestly, for most of the year, we were kind of in a blurry situation. Even once she was kicked out of the group, the timeline remained very unclear. But by now, the Dispatch article, I hate them as much as everyone else, but they're the only one that have brought in new information. Yeah, it's kind of cleared everything up. It's a pretty long article, so I'll link a translation in the description. I'm going to assume that most people that are here know what's going on with Loona, and I'm more going to share my thoughts. Here is the thing. The music industry in general, and in particular the K-pop music industry, is very abusive towards its most vulnerable part, and it's the artists. They're the ones that generally like are very driven by their passion, their dream, very often more than the desire to get money, and that's why very often we hear about young artists signing contracts that are like a huge disadvantage to them. It's very prevalent in K-pop because a lot of them are really young when they when they sign their contracts, you know, when they're trainees, which makes me wonder where their parents are in all that. Like, but that's another subject. It's important to remember that it's a problem that is at the same time specific to K-pop with specific settings due to K-pop, but also that we've seen big cases, for example, in the American music industry with, for example, Taylor Swift, you know, or a lot of other artists that I've mentioned that their first original contract turned out to be like a huge screw over. Obviously, when they debut, nobody really knows when a group starts or when an artist starts. And I'm going to focus more on K-pop now, but when trainees sign up to a company, unless it's one of the big three or big four now, nobody knows like how successful they will be, even from like medium companies, you know, the ones that have been here for a while. I'm thinking like Cube or Starship or companies that, yeah, middle companies, I think. I'm thinking about. Even them like can guarantee the success. So it's always a bit of a gamble for every trainee. Trainees are generally very young and, as I've said, very passionate about what they want to do, so very vulnerable. And so it's not really a surprise to hear that Luna's contract was that bad. It's definitely like a new level of bad. Like, not every bad contract is as bad as it is, but the company was fairly new, and at the same time with that very big budget. By the way, you should, when you see people talk about Luna's pre-debut projects budgets, you should like take a step back when you read the numbers, because I remember back some time ago someone mentioning that like Jaden Jong, who used to be their producer, I guess, like a quick apartheid. This is the cutest card ever. This is Eugene's blip card and one of the hardest cards to find. So I'm glad at least the group order manager found these cards for everyone, secured them for everyone. That's invaluable. Those cards that go up for so much money now. But yeah, mention a few different figures and things don't really add up, so they probably like mention bigger numbers than what it actually costs to, you know, make it look extra like extravagant. But well, it was still a big budget, and at the time they really didn't know like, how big the group would be, if we are being really honest at the very beginning. And for like a lot of the pre-debut project, Loona wasn't exactly like a huge group. And they were, as we as we say now, a new goo, but yeah, their sales weren't like, or music video views were never really like that huge. They started taking off with Odai Circle, and especially with YY by Y, and Shoes MV was a big step up definitely for Loona, I feel like, because it drew in the gays. But also, I don't know, I feel like YY by Y really like drew in a lot more people, made it more accessible to international audiences, and that's kind of important to know. And kind of had an impact on Luna's future. Shu's popularity has been huge for a very long time. She's I'm not going to pretend otherwise she was I guess I should say now Luna's most popular member, and it was very obvious from the start. It's been obvious for a long time. I feel like the girls themselves know it very obviously. That means that she has a lot of uh, activities, a lot more activities than the other girls. One thing I found interesting in the Dispatch article is that apparently Shu started questioning her contract when she got when she was talking with a member that was asking her, like, shouldn't you be making money, like, because it shows that the girls themselves are aware uh, of the position Shu had. I'm not going to pretend that I'm really good with math and that I saw people like make calculations of how their contract works, and I took their word on that. I'm not really someone that can like go and verify these kinds of things. But basically, yeah, you should read the article. I think they put an example, but basically they have to make really a lot of money from an activity to be able to like get any money, and in fact most of their activities only add debt to add to their own debt, which makes me understand why so many of the girls haven't done that much, because like, is it really worth it, in those conditions, um outside of like albums or the world tour? And I can't believe even the world tour, like, didn't profit them at all, which is crazy when we think about like everything that they went through physically for that tour. Um, I wonder now if Shu didn't know how badly it was organized. Well, if she didn't like see how badly it was organized and everything, and that how rushed it was, and like didn't sit out of it saying like, yeah, no, it's going to be really bad. And most audience, I can't say the word, but most of the people at the shows were really nice, but it's obvious that the girls were really stressed, really tired, really physically exhausted. And yeah, obviously we have to think, was it worth it? And that's only a question they can answer themselves, because we're not really in a position to know like what meeting fans all over the world is worth. Like, maybe, for them it was worth like the pain and the depth, and but yeah, but I understand that Shu possibly sat out of that to focus on her own activities, that she mentioned that she didn't really want to be in Queendom, and my first reaction honestly was like feeling kind of betrayed, but the more I think about it, the more logical it is. Because, well, first, it's a huge time investment, and I don't know, like, is it really worth it? I don't know if Queendom was really worth it, and I mean, we're on the outside. Maybe she had info from the inside that really, like, let her know beforehand that it wouldn't really be worth it. One thing, for example, that I've been like reproaching Mnet about Queendom too, is that the budget felt like a lot lower than the previous one, Kingdom, and that's maybe information that she had. I don't know. I feel like also at this point she just want to focus on small things, like do a lot of small things that will possibly bring her money now that she has her own, that she has a lot more control, rather than doing those big things that are like very exhausting, but like probably not worth a lot And I know I'm talking a lot about money, but we have to consider that, it's work, and as much as it's like passion fueled, and as much as she enjoys it, she like honestly it deserves compensation. Imagine if for all the work you've done in the past 4 years, you wouldn't have touched a cent. Yeah, no, no. Like you would not accept that. And so yeah, I completely understand that she tried to shake things up, that she did shake things up, and if the other girls breaking their like filing suits for to break their contract is true, I completely believe it. I think the timing indicates that they really didn't like the fact that they were slandering Shu on her way out. I mean, they're still her friend. That she's still their friends, So yeah, personally, I would not stand for that. In the dispatch article, there's a few text and conversations. I think phone conversation between Shu and staff, where she's a bit snappy and everything. Honestly, when the first since we knew that Shu had done a lawsuit and everything, since like the first announcement by BBC, I wondered like about the context, because an employee that is being mistreated and is suffering, snapping at their superiors, that's not bullying, that's not like abuse of power, that's you know honestly they're they're right. I know a lot of K-pop fans are pretty young, and so I've maybe never been in that position, but I've been in the position where I've had to snap at my superiors at work because I was under like really grueling, inhumane work conditions. And obviously, my managers weren't like the direct responsible person responsible for that. But they do represent authority in the workplace, and so they should be held accountable for that. Which is why, to me, shoe snapping at them was completely acceptable, excusable. I don't really like how Dispatch is painting her as is paint the Dispatch is kind of painting things as if once she changed her contract, suddenly she was the one that held the power. That positions were reversed. That's not like, I'm sorry to all the grown people at Dispatch that have probably like done a lot of studies, but that's not how the reality of capitalism works. So she was still, working for them, and she had a bit more freedom, a bit more liberty, a bit more leeway to check things that the other girls, but she was still the employee, so she was still in an inferior position. But since we kind of done talking about money, let's talk about our money, the Orbit's money. I've been supporting the boycott idea since day one, honestly. Like, even before the comeback was announced, I mentioned on Instagram that I would block anyone that open goes. The truth is, there are very few things we can do, like physically, to help Luna, Shu, or the girls, yeah. And since K-Orbits, like, don't seem to do much, personally, I would be protesting in front of the building, but, like, apparently you can't really do that in Korea, I guess. That's my French ass talking, we do that all the time, so to me, it's the obvious solution. But yeah, the boycott is the only true option we have. A very loud boycott. By that I mean that we have to mention that we are boycotting every time, everywhere. One of the early reactions before the comeback was announced were people that were saying, "Yeah, but the girls will think we're just like letting them down." Uh, No, because they do have eyes. They can read, and if everywhere orbits are saying, we are boycotting because we want you to be free and to have maybe economic freedom, to find another company somewhere where you can pursue your dreams while being respected as an artist. Um, they can read that, they can comprehend that. And I feel like the people's reacting like that were kind of babying the girls. They're adults. Vivi is just like a year younger than me, so she definitely can understand what a boycott is. Um, and so the rest of the girls, honestly, I think even Eugene and definitely understands what's going on. Um, it's very obvious by now with what we've had from as messages from the girls that they understand and they know what we are doing, which is obviously I encourage you. No, I very strongly encourage you to not buy the albums, to not buy anything, any merch that will be released about Luna, to unfollow the official accounts too, because I think to them, think the numbers drops is like an obvious sign that something is wrong. Yeah, we have to let them know that like who has the power in the end, and like as I've said, when Luna began, they were a really small group, and if they had stayed in, as a smaller of a group as they were in the very early days, they would never have like worked at all. And they probably never would have made it even to debut. The idea was launched by the company, the girls were recruited by the company, but all the support and the outpour of money that actually made the existence of Luna possible is the fans' money, our investment in time and in money. But yeah, for example, I became an orbit because I saw Stan Luna memes that was a big thing in 2018. So even stupid things like that, like bringing people like me that will then spend a lot of money in the group. So yeah, boycott has been working really well so far. Interesting that we were all talking about boycotting the season's greetings and they just passed on that. We never saw that. And they immediately went to an album. I think they wanted to test out the waters with like what I feel like they thought people wouldn't pass on. Like it was the real test. Like if they don't buy the albums and pre-order the photo cards, then we're really really in deep shit. That's what I think what was going on through their heads. Yeah, it's been going really well. Even like the views on the video teasers have been really low. Honestly, I'm a bit surprised because I feel like people at the beginning were very conflicted about the about boycotting. It but people are a lot less now. I think like a lot of people were convinced and think the girls go silent on what they've mentioned so far. What Yunjin especially and Vivi have talked about assholes letters for her 6 years with her so was really bittersweet. But yeah, I wasn't really prepared for how much the boycott will work. It's kind of funny, but right now we still haven't like sold more than Higgins' album, which was I don't know if you saw the tweets. You ever saw the tweet from Girl Group Sales that was like Higgins' album was the worst selling album of her year 2016, and I mean we're below that. So yeah, definitely there's some nuggas out there in 2022 that sold more than what Luna is going to sell for this comeback, which must be a huge fucking smack in the face to BBC. Like, yeah, you probably see the like numbers that were how the pre-orders were for the first day. I think were 98% lower. It's really a huge thing that that's happening about Loona. The Korean press has been talking a lot about Loona and especially Shu and the events. So and the contract that was literally like revealed today is going to be a lot of the subject of a lot of discussion too. I know that. And what I hope is that it's what's happening to Loona pushes things to the better for other groups too. My hope, my one dear hope, is that other companies will see like how Orbitz completely reversed the support and to help the girls think more about what they're doing, I guess, in the future, and think twice before slandering the group's member or things like that. Obviously, the industry is never going to be perfect for a lot of reasons, but also because perfection doesn't exist. But yeah, I do hope what we are doing here has an impact. Not just on our 12 girls' lives, but a bit beyond that, to focus a bit more on the girls. What future for Loona now? The next album, Zero, is, very honestly, I truly believe that it's going to be their last one. Which is really bittersweet because we won't really appreciate it. It's really tainted with everything that's happened. In my heart, Flip That will be their last album. But yeah, what I really hope is that after that the group officially disbands as soon as possible. I know a lot of Orbits hope that all the girls will like join companies and then redebut as Loona somewhere else. Maybe even if they are under different companies, but I don't think that's possible because 12 people is a lot, and the 12 of them to go into the same direction and make the same choices is not the most likely. I do hope we get something kind of like the trend had, where 3 of the members redebuted under a new group. So I hope we get something like that with a few of the members redebuting together. I do think that Shu is on a solo path now, and that she will make an official debut as a soloist soon. Obviously, I will support that fully as much as I can. Yeah, maybe some of the other girls will go solo too, but I do really hope we get another like subgroup, I guess. A new subunit, the last subunit. I don't know. I really hope we get something, yeah, kind of like baby Vivi's. Can you tell I'm tearing up a bit now? Yeah. I've been talking a lot, but I do want to know what you think. What thoughts you have about the situation and everything that's been going on. If you disagree with some of the things I've said, I'd love to hear that. The next few months, the past month has been really difficult for Orbits, and I honestly think the next few months are going to be really hard too. So I hope we can all like hold on together, give each other strength, not to be like my life is the worst, but recently, like, out of my 5 urge groups, One has, disbanded. And it's not really the same anymore. I love that some of the girls are doing really, really well, but yeah. JWSN are super inactive, and honestly, if they come back, it's a miracle. I'm hoping, I'm not a doomer, but yeah, it's a miracle. Monster X are going to come back pretty soon on the 9th of January, yeah. But it's probably their last comeback before some of the members enlist, and then we will go through the real like enlistment hell. So like not really fun. And yeah. And then there's Billy. At least I have Billy. They're the only ones like holding me up now. Yeah. Enough. Wow, 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 poor me. If anybody in your bit want to reach out and talk to me in a more private, I guess, setting that YouTube comments, you can DM me on Instagram. Always, I'm pretty active there, even though I'm on a buying hiatus. Thank you a lot for watching. Sorry that I've been like a bit emotional at the end, but I'll see you very soon. Please boycott Loona. Let's make our favorite girls flop now. uh, bye.
It hurts to throw